The stone hit the ground, and so did Marcus, not from the weight of the rock, from the words of the man standing over him. You will never be enough. Not here, not anywhere. Marcus was 26 years old and already felt ancient. He lived at the edge of a small mountain village where the air was cold and the work was harder. Every morning before sunrise, he climbed the hill with his hammer and his chisel and split stone for rich men's walls. His hands were cracked, his back was bent, his boots had holes that let the winter inside. But none of that hurt the way people did. The village foreman, a broad man named Silas, had decided long ago that Marcus was weak, too slow, too quiet, too small to matter. Every time Marcus brought his stones to be weighed and measured, Silas would look at them the same way, with contempt. Look at this. Half the size of what the others bring. My son does better work with one hand. The other workers laughed. Marcus said nothing. He went back to the mountain and broke more stone. Months passed, then a year. Marcus worked harder than anyone, longer hours, earlier mornings. He studied the rock face, learned its lines, found its weak points. He believed that if he worked hard enough, the results would speak for themselves. But something was wrong. His stones were precise, clean, cut with perfect edges. But they were never large, never the great slabs that the other men dragged down the mountain with pride. No matter how hard he swung the hammer, his body couldn't produce what size and brute force could. The village mason rejected his work 3 times. Silas laughed loud enough for everyone to hear. Even his own mother whispered one night, eyes soft with worry, "Marcus, maybe stone cutting is not for you." He sat alone on the mountain that evening, looking at his hands, wondering if they were all right. Then something happened that made no sense at all. An old man appeared on the mountain. No tools, no horse, no reason to be there. Just sitting on a boulder like he had been waiting for someone specific. And he was looking directly at Marcus. "I have watched you for 3 weeks," the old man said. Marcus stood up slowly. "Then you have watched me fail for 3 weeks." The old man shook his head. "No, I have watched you fight the mountain the wrong way for 3 weeks." Marcus felt something break inside him. Not anger, exhaustion, the deep kind that lives below the bones. "I swing harder than anyone. I start earlier. I finish later." "What else is there?" The old man was quiet for a moment. Then he picked up Marcus's chisel. He walked to a massive rock nearby. One Marcus had been trying to split for 2 days. He did not swing hard. He barely tapped it. Once, twice, 3 times, in 3 different spots. On the 4th tap, the rock split open perfectly. Marcus stared. "How did you do that?" The old man handed the chisel back and said something Marcus would spend years thinking about. "The mountain never breaks where you are strongest. It breaks where it is weakest. Your job was never to be powerful. Your job was to find the crack." That night, Marcus could not sleep. He lay on his mat and replayed every stone he had ever cut, every failure, every rejection, and slowly a different picture formed. He had been fighting the stone, but the old man had been reading it. The next morning, Marcus did not swing once until he had walked around the rock completely. He ran his fingers along its face. He looked for lines, shadows, tiny fractures invisible to a man in a hurry. Then he placed his chisel at a single point and tapped gently. The stone opened like a door. Within a month, Marcus was cutting the cleanest, most precise stones in the village. Not the largest, the best. Walls that used his stones needed fewer repairs. Corners that used his edges stayed true for decades. The head architect from the city came specifically to find out who was producing work of such unusual quality. Silas said nothing the day Marcus was hired to cut the keystones for the new bridge. The most important piece, the one everything else depended on. Marcus did not celebrate loudly. He just went back to the mountain and kept reading the stone. The world will always celebrate the loudest hammer, but the man who finds the crack will outlast them all. Strength was never about force. It was never about size or speed or how hard you could hit. Real strength is the patience to study what others ignore, the wisdom to find the hidden weakness, the discipline to keep showing up when the mountain refuses to break. You are not behind because you are weak. You are searching for the crack. Keep looking. It is there.